Namaste. All right, so last week I gave a little practice, and we kind of detailed Anjeneyasana, the kneeling crescent lunge. Love for you to join me today. Today's gonna be a little shorter practice. I gotta get to work, but but we'll do a little flow, and then we'll jump right into the posture. Okay. All right, so Samastiti. Stand at the top of your mat. We'll be doing some sun salutations. All right. Inhale, arms rise, keys to thumbs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, plant hands, step or float back, lower. All right, chaturanga to your belly. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. 1, Ujjayi pranayama. 2, 3, focus on your breath. 4, soften your eyes, your jaw. And 5, exhale, step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, look up halfway, lengthen. And fold, exhale. Inhale, rise up, gaze up. And Samastiti, exhale. Inhale, arms rise. Fold, exhale. Halfway, inhale. And exhale, step or float back, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just quiet your mind. 4, concentrating on your breathing. And 5, exhale to the top. Halfway inhale. Fold, exhale. Rise up, reach up, inhale. And Samastiti, exhale. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold. Halfway inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale to the top. Halfway inhale. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale, gaze up. And Samastiti, exhale. I'll do 1B. Inhale, knees bend, arms rise, gaze to thumbs. And fold, exhale. Halfway inhale. And chaturanga, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Step right foot forward, left heel down. Inhale, rise up, gaze up. Exhale, touch down, step back and lower. Inhale. Exhale. And left foot forward, right heel down. Inhale, rise up, gaze up. Exhale, lower. Deep inhale. And down dog, exhale. 1, concentrate. 2, control your breath. Keep it smooth and balanced. 3, 4, and 5. Exhale to the top. Halfway inhale. Fold, exhale. Knees bend, arms rise. Utkatasana, inhale. We'll hold here 5 breaths. 1, gaze to thumbs, ribs in. 2, as the hips sink, stretch your chest upwards. 3, relax your jaw. 4, and 5, sitting yourself down as you exhale, maybe using your hands if needed for Navasana boat pose. Inhale, legs lift. 1, chest up. 2, Of course, it's really working our hip flexors here, right? And that's kind of the goal of sorts. Anjeneyasana, then Crescent Lunge, all about extending those hip flexors. 4 and 5. Chaturanga, exhale. Full inhale. And into down dog, exhale. Right foot forward, warrior 1. Left heel down, inhale, rise up, gaze up. 1. Gaze the thumbs, shoulders down your back. 2. I try to understand that the architecture, especially from the hips on up, is very similar to the most common shape of Anjeneyasana. 4. So get the ribs in. Think about the tailbone scooping forward towards the right heel. Shoulders down your back, away from your ears. And 5. Exhale, hands behind your back. You can take reverse prayer or grab opposite elbows if you have it. Inhale, scoot left foot forward a little bit. Exhale, right leg straightens. We set up front 10 side stretch, chest up, inhale. And fold, exhale, chin to shin. Gaze big toe, right foot. 1. 2. Keep your spine long, lengthen. 3. Adjusting right hip back, left hip forward. 4. And 5. Halfway inhale. Hands to hips, exhale. Revolve triangle. Inhale, left arm out, thumb up. And then exhale, twist. Left hand outside of right foot, maybe up on a block or stack of books. Inhale, right arm then reaches up. Gaze up. 1. And try to understand a lot of 2. Even though this is a twist, right? Some alignment remains the same. 3. Specifically in the hips. 4. Keep lengthening your spine. And 5. Exhale, right hand down, frame the foot, inhale, look up. And exhale, step or float your way back, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Left foot forward, right heel down. Warrior 1, inhale, rise up, knees up. 1. Again, well, even in the legs, right? Obviously that front knee is bent. 2. In warrior 1, I'd like you to focus on the back leg. Pinky toe edge down, back knee straight, strong. 3. Let the back leg guide where that left knee lands, right? Don't push it too far forward and lose the back foot or knee. 4. Same as Anjeneyasana, right hip draws forward here. And 5. Exhale, hands behind your back. Take reverse prayer or grab opposite elbows. And inhale, scoot right foot forward a little bit. Exhale, left leg straight. Chest up, inhale. For your Parsvottanasana, fold, exhale, chin to shin. Gaze big toe, left foot. 1. 2. Breathe deeply. 3. And leg scissoring, right? We want that action in Anjeneyasana as well. 4. And 5. Inhale, halfway. Hands to hips, exhale. Revolve triangle, right arm out, thumb up, inhale. And twist, exhale. Right hand outside of the left foot, maybe up on books or a block. Oh, there's a book right there. Yoga and Ayurveda. It's a good one. Inhale, left arm reaches up. David Frawley, it's a good book. 1. 2. Again, legs scissoring, rooting firm, big toe down, left foot. 3. Keep your spine long. Don't even worry about the rotation. 4. Focus more on length. And 5. Exhale, left hand down. Frame the foot, inhale, look up. Exhale, step the foot your way back lower. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Now, inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, forearm plank, right? So those elbows lower. So we did this last week. I want those elbows scrubbing in and back. If you need to, your knees can most certainly lower. All right, whether the knees are lowered or not, right? Toes tuck, knees up. Make sure, right? We're not hollowing out the back like so. Very important. I want the ribs up. I prefer more cat pose in my plank. All right. So this action is something that is going to be reflected in Anjeneyasana to help tilt the pelvis correctly so that we can lengthen more deeply through the hip flexor and quadricep muscles. Yes, it takes some of the back bend out of the pose, but if we're targeting the areas it's meant to target, ideally your back bends will actually grow deeper. All right. Yeah, sure. Well, let's walk it in for dolphin pose. Why not? Hips rise. Send your chest through. Good opportunity to open up the armpits a little bit in preparation for those arms reaching up overhead. Now, if you can, press your chest back. Keep your forearms parallel. Elbows scrubbing in and back. And you can stay here. Maybe you can work on pinch up. A good opening through the armpits, no doubt. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale. Down dog. Exhale. All right, so we're going to take, I'm going to set up my little Mysore rug here, which I love so much. Back when I started practicing yoga in the 90s, I didn't know there was such thing as a mat, so I always practiced on my carpet in my bedroom. And I found that there was mats in like 2002, 2003-ish. I was like, what is this stuff? But anyway, I realized there was things like the Mysore rug. Felt like going home again. All right, so we're going to come onto our belly. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, lower through chaturanga and onto your belly. We're going to do Shalabhasana A and B. All right, sit your hands beside your hips, palms up, chin to the center of your mat. Inhale, head, chest, legs lift. 1, chin up, gaze down. 2, inner thighs lifting upwards, shoulder blades back. 3, 4, keep lifting those thighs and keep the position as you set your hands next to your chest. 1, 2, 3, and inner thighs rising. 4, and 5. Exhale, lower chin to your mat. Anjeneyasana, bend your knees, catch ankles. Inhale and lift on up. 1, 2, draw your knees in, try to keep your shins parallel. 3, keep it mild, right? We're not practicing too deeply today. 4, and 5. Exhale, lower, nice and easy. Now what I want you to do, inhale, come up onto hands and knees. Now either Vajrasana, knees together, sitting back onto your heels, unless you have knee issues, in which case you'll sit up onto a block between your feet. Or Virasana, separating the feet, sitting back between your feet. All right, so keeping the knees together, shoulders back. All right, from here, all right, we might work on reclining, right? If you're up on the block, you can recline. It's not a big deal if you recline, but you also have to recline to a point that seems reasonable. And by reasonable, I mean that you're not like going into like this really wild back bend in your low back. You're trying to lead from your pelvis. So what I want to do is, much like we'll demonstrate, we'll work on in Anjeneyasana, I want to keep these ribs down. I want to affect the pelvis, lift the front of the pelvis upwards towards the ribs and keep it moving upwards so that I can recline, moving from the pelvis, not from the lumbar spine. So this is actually as far as I'm going to go today. Maybe a little bit further. We'll see after a few breaths. Some of you might be able to recline fully. But what I want you to do is make sure that if you recline all the way, that there's not this like huge hollow in your low back. Now, there's no real misalignment in doing that, quite honestly. It's similar to a posture called Paryangasana. It's just that it's not going to inform us of the actions that we're looking for in Anjeneyasana. Okay. So, again, let's just hold here, keep the knees drawing in. 1, 2, again, ribs down. 3, front of the pelvis lifting up, tailbone moving towards between your knees. 3, 4, and 5. Coming up, inhale. Good. Exhale, down dog. All right, let's rediscover Anjeneyasana. So we're going to step the right foot forward and lower your left knee. Now, if you need to, you can lower or pad up the left knee. Use a blanket, a pad, use a towel, a couple folds on a towel or something like that. All right, so promising some variations today, right? Last week, of course, we went with the basic arms reaching up overhead here, which is wonderful. Great way to open up the front of that left hip flexor, right? And that's really the length that we're kind of looking for. Yes, you can get into, you can mobilize the spine, of course. In this approach, we're attempting to reduce the amount of extension in the spine in effort to find more length through the hip flexor. Because after all, when we're going into a very deep back bend, that's the flexibility that we actually need. Right? It's not how well we can it's partially how well we can mobilize the lumbar spine. Certainly a combination of the two, but for many of us, tighter hip flexors outweigh our focus over the lumbar, right? Because the lumbar will have its flexibility. All right, so we're here. We're just lunging forward. We take the hand onto that thigh. Now, again, there's like a couple of variations that I, really enjoy. One is actually a side bend, which is kind of odd. Now, if you can, we're lunging forward, keeping the ribs in. My left hand ideally would be placed next to my left knee. I don't either one have the length in the arms, which I can't believe that would be it because I have long arms. But more or less, it's flexibility in my hip flexor, right? I can't drive my hips far forward enough to find that length. Now, there's a little bit of a side bend, as I mentioned. My left hand sometimes placed on a block next to my hip. If I turn myself around and grab myself a block. All right, so I'm going to stack the block here. I've got my right foot forward still. Here, my hand is on the block. I'm reaching my right arm up as I inhale, I'm lifting the chest. I'm drawing the ribs in as I send my hips forward towards the right heel. And then I'm going to turn, give myself a little side bend, reaching that right arm across midline and attempt to lengthen the right side of the body as I work on my crescent lunge. So it's a little bit of a side bend as well as a back bend, right? The back bending part, of course, comes in the hip flexors. Keep the chest rising, a little extension in the lumbar spine as well. All right, let's switch sides. All right, we'll step right knee back, left foot forward. Position myself correct on my mat. Again, here, I got the block next to my right knee. I'm going to first lunge it forward. Remember, ribs in, front of the pelvis lifts up, tailbone scoops down beneath the body towards the left heel. I want to feel like the left heel scrubbing back. And I try to activate the back of that left knee a little bit. I talked about this last week on the last first part. I lift that front heel just a little bit to keep that back of that leg active. All right, now as I send that hip forward, all right, I'm finding my position. My hand might be placed on that block. Left arm up. Inhale. Keep the belly firm, chest up. Right, we can really try to work on the upper lumbar by keeping those lower belly muscles more active. And then I'm going to start to tip my body to the right, sending the left arm through midline in an effort to find that side bend through the left side body. Keep the right shoulder back, chest rising up. Breathing deeply. Good, and exhale and release. Okay, so as we go like a little bit deeper here into our practice, let's work into our kneeling crescent lunge practice. Close. Let's take, again, face this way on my mat, because I'm going to start with the right foot forward, lunging into it, of course. Now, there's a couple options here as we start to work with the back leg. Mindful of the left knee, right? You want to kind of get above the patella, of that left knee, right? So it's, feels relatively comfortable. Now, as I work into this pose here, I'm starting to work a little bit more into the quad as I start to close the knee joint off. Here, I want to be sure that I'm sending my left rib cage forward. Think about bow pose, that's all, right? Bow pose. We're kicking back just gently enough as we send the hips forward. Now we can go deeper here. So this being its own variation, but really a progression here as we work towards Ardha Bakasana, a half frog in your Anjeneyasana, kneeling crescent lunge. Notice the position of my left hand now, placed to the inner edge of my left foot. Now I'm going to attempt to bring the left heel next to the left hip, attempting to rotate the left elbow so it points towards the back of my mat, and the fingers point forward. Now I've really got to work on getting the left rib cage forward. Maybe then that right arm reaches up. Breathing, 1, right? Either one of those postures that might work for you. 2. Remember, keep turning the left rib cage forward. 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, gently release. All right, we'll switch sides. I'm just going to turn to face the front of my mat. My right knee lowers, my left knee is bent. I'm working into that lunge. And again, here, we're going to bend that right knee. And again, you're going to make sure that the position of the knee is above the patella, right? You're above that patella so it's not bearing down on the little knob of your knee. More like bow pose here, right? We catch the outer edge of the ankle, and we just kick back as we lift the chest and attempt to draw the right rib cage forward. All right, we want to make sure that there's a nice even alignment from kind of like the right hip to that right heel, right? That right foot's not swaying out to the side or moving inward. Be mindful of that. Usually when we adjust the right rib cage forward, that allows that heel and hip to align itself correct. From here, right, we might take the second step here. Taking the inner edge of the right foot, my thumb is up. All right, I'm catching the inner edge of the foot. And then I'm attempting to pull the right heel next to the right hip. Elbow rotates back, fingers rotate forward. Again, like half frog pose. From here, right, now the right side body really wants to move back. I want to move the right rib cage forward. Right? Note of caution, for those of you really flexible, I want you to work on the strength of the front of your shoulder. Attempt to bring the shoulder head forward in space. Help engage a little bit of the front of the, which would be the anterior deltoid, and pec minor a bit. All right? From here, maybe that arm, left arm reaches up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Gently release. That's another thing. No rubber band action out of Anjeneyasana. All right, let's take camel pose just to even things out a little bit, okay? Because this guy does have to get off to work. So, with our hands to our back, all right? Knees, hips distance, shins parallel. Gently squeeze the knees towards one another. Inhale, lift your chest up. You can most certainly stay here. Try to keep your hips over your knees. You might reach your hands, if your toes are tucked, back onto your heels. Or if you can, your hands land on the soles of your feet, hips forward, chest up. 1, 2, keep lifting the chest, belly firm, tailbone forward through the legs. 3, knees gently squeeze in. 4, and 5. Keeping your head back, inhale, come on up. Exhale, sit back upon your heels. Resting. Okay, so thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on some variations of Anjeneyasana. We didn't get into any strap work or anything like that. But it's good practice, great posture. And if you have great difficulties in postures like Anjeneyasana or any back bend, really, work on your crescent poses. It's a good chance to isolate one side and the next. All right? Great. Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Peace.